Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Monday, January 8th, 2024, and we welcome you to the January meeting of the Milford Board of Aldermen. Please join me as we salute our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Secretary, will you please take the roll?
Alderman Archiola.
Present.
Alderman Beatty.
Present.
Alderman Bevan. Alderman Casey.
Here.
Alderman Federico.
Here.
Alderman Fowler.
Here.
Alderman Healy.
Here.
Alderman Jenkins.
Here.
Alderman Marlowe.
Here.
Alderman Mulrennan.
Here.
Alderman Pacelli.
Here.
Alderman Smith.
Here.
Alderman Vitro.
Here.
Alderman Vitale. Alderman Willis.
Here.
All are present.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We do have a quorum. The next portion of the meeting is devoted to public comment. Statements are strictly limited to the legislative function of the Board of Aldermen. Please use every effort to limit public speaking to the permissible business of the Board of Aldermen. The time limit granted to each speaker shall be 3 minutes. Residents, taxpayers, and electors may address the board at this time. The board encourages speakers not to express derogatory, insensitive, or offensive statements or to engage in personal attacks against individuals. In order to allow everyone an opportunity to speak, I'd ask that everyone please limit their comments to 3 minutes. Anyone wishing to address the board can do so at this time. Please state your name and address for the record as you come to the podium. And by the way, that speaker on the podium is not working, so you have to use the handheld one. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the Board of Aldermen, Mayor Giannatasio. Happy New Year. And again, thank you, members of this board, for your willingness to serve our great city. This month, you'll do a lot of board and commission appointments. I'm always amazed and I'm inspired by how many of our neighbors are willing to serve on these boards and commissions. You may recall we did an open house here a few months ago and invited the public in to get to know what we do on all these boards. They dedicate so much of their time and effort, and when their terms expire, more times than not, they ask for reappointment. I admire their dedication, and I'm grateful for their service. And traditionally, I know that we reappoint people who have served and asked to be reappointed. Yet, when I look at the agenda tonight, I see several cases where incumbents who clearly did express interest in continuing to serve have not been reappointed. And I'm concerned that the best interest of Milford may not be served in these cases. For example, Felicia Shazinka, whose job in New Haven is in New Haven Parks and Beach in Rec, who knows the business probably better than anyone in our city, and has been a great member of our board. Or Kevin McGrath, a respected and effective chairman of the Fire Commission, who's had fire chiefs, other commissioners, and many others come out in support of his appointment, reappointment. Scott Moulton on finance, vice chairman of the Board of Finance, former chair of the Devon Rotary, former chair of the Milford Chamber. And I spoke to Scott today, and he didn't even know he hadn't been reappointed. Susan Stanek on animal control was hoping to be reappointed, and Nigel Phelps on MGAT. These are folks that bring institutional knowledge with them. And there's something to be said for that. That's how we survive. You know, in elective politics, you look at government, it's the people who know, who've been there for years, that are able to pass on those learnings. So I appeal to this board to reconsider the the removal of some of these very talented, capable, and dedicated members of these boards. Each brings an immense amount of institutional knowledge and dedication to our city. Thanks so much.
Good evening. My name is Peter Smith. I'm at 65 Old Field Lane in Milford. And again, I'll sort of echo the comments. Congratulations, Mayor. Congratulations, Aldermen. I know that you take the responsibility in front of you very seriously. I also serve on the Milford Fire Commission, and I'm here tonight to specifically address the appointments of the Fire Commission. And I do want to say that I read the biography of the gentleman that the mayor had submitted to the Fire Commission. I think he sounds like a great guy. He would do a wonderful job representing us, and I look forward to working with him. And so this has nothing to do with his qualifications or his ability. He looks eminently qualified. What I do want to talk about is I want to talk about Kevin McGrath. And I've only been on the commission for 2 years. But I serve on a commission where there are folks who have been there for 17 years, for 15 years, for 14 years, and Kevin's been on for 12 years. And what I've seen in the last 2 years on that commission is a human being who has really what I consider to be a unique ability of bringing folks together. And it's not that, he's not siding with the unions, he's not siding with the chief, he's not siding with various commissioners, but really listens to everyone and make sure that there's collaboration and working together. And I think the result of that is really the quality of the fire service that we currently have. Those of you who haven't had the opportunity to see some of our new recruits and understand that Milford fire recruits are invariably at the top of their class in every fire academy in the last 10 years. I mean, we literally have the top of the class, and it's because of the quality of the department that we have. And when you look at the quality of what those men and women do every day to make us safe, the quality of the administration that we have with the chief and his team doing what they do every day to make us all safe, it's not by accident. It's because you have a cohesive group of people who are working together for the betterment of our city. And Kevin is really one of those unique people. Kevin goes up to those graduations. Kevin makes sure he's buying dinner for the men and women who are working over the holidays and brings them dinner and makes sure he hears from them and really does that kind of thing that honestly a lot of folks don't do. And there's, I understand politics, I understand moving things around, I understand that, somebody wants to do this or do that, but honestly the fire department, the fire commission isn't and shouldn't be a political agency because it's a public service agency, it's a public safety agency. And I think we should really figure out a way to make sure that Kevin stays on that commission. And I've only been on 2 years, and I really enjoy my time on the Fire Commission. But Mr. Mayor, if you need a vacancy on the commission to put Kevin back on, I would resign from the commission to put Kevin back on. Not that I want to, but I think he is really a top-notch player. And when you have a Super Bowl team, you don't fire your coach. Maybe the Patriots will fire their coach, but they're not in the Super Bowl. But when you have a Super Bowl team, you don't fire your coach. So all I'm asking is think about what you're doing and make sure we end up with the best people in our city to serve our community. Thank you.
Is there anyone else wanting to address the board at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 3, Alderman Pacelli, item number 3, consideration of minutes.
Agenda item number 3, consideration of minutes of the regular meeting of the Board of Aldermen held on December 4th, 2023.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is agenda item number 4. Alderman Pacelli.
Item number 4, consideration of minutes of the special organizational meeting. Appears there are none.
There are no minutes of the special meeting. There was no special meeting. So agenda item number 5, the chairman's report. I just want to remind everyone that next Monday, January 15th, is Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. Just want to make note of that. Agenda item number 6, mayor's report and recommendations. Is there a report from the mayor?
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Happy New Year to everyone, and welcome to City Hall. It's great to see all of you here tonight as we move forward with our new appointed boards and commissions. Through elections, result in new boards and commissions, and it's an opportunity for people that haven't had the pleasure of serving the city to come before us here tonight and ask for our support and allow them to serve on a specific board or commission. I can assure you that I have the support from the fire chief, from the directors of the departments, with the new nominated boards and commissions and the people that are here tonight, and I have 100% confidence in all of them. And at the end of the day, there's been more reappointments than there has been new appointments. But under the mayor's report, I also wanted to mention to all of you that I appreciate all the work that we do here. We're all elected to do a job in what's in the best interest of the city. And me, first and foremost, that's the job that I took, and I want to see us be successful and all work together, united as a city. And that's my number one goal here, is to give opportunity to people that necessarily haven't had the opportunity. And I think that that sends a message that we can all work together, and we need to have some new input, some fresh ideas in order to move the city forward. So I look forward to all of you that are here. I thank you in advance for your service. There are some other announcements I'd like to make. As a reminder, I sent out a Facebook post that will be picking up the Christmas trees, and it's been advertised. There will also be a drop-off event on Saturday, January 13th from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. with drop-off locations at the Tri-Beach Rec Center in Walnut Beach. I was fortunate enough to host a holiday luncheon for the city employees. I invited all of the department heads and the employees, the people that work for us, that work for the city, and it was a great success. There was a big turnout. Everyone seemed to enjoy themselves, and I was proud to do it. And I look to continue to do these types of events moving forward to keep people engaged and let them know that we appreciate the work and the service that they provide to all of us as citizens of Milford. Another mention, the Milford Lynx will host their annual Martin Luther King Jr. Remembrance event at City Hall on Sunday, January 14th at 4 p.m. And I'm excited to announce that this will be the first Martin Luther King event since COVID. So please mark that on your calendars. We'd love to have a great turnout to support Dr. Martin Luther King. And once again, I just want you to know that things have been very positive in the city. We're looking at a lot of opportunities to grow the city economically. We're revisiting all of our departments, and as you know, we're working on the budget. I've met with all of the department heads to go over the budget, and there's a lot of conversation, a lot of discussion, and there's a lot of new ideas. So I'm really excited to propose my budget within the next couple of months, and I look forward to doing that. So, and I also would consider your approval on the requested items before you. If you have any questions, please, I'm here to answer them all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next item on the agenda, item number 7. There is no unfinished business. Next item is number 8. Moving on to new business, Alderman Pacelli, agenda item number 8A.
Are we not going to go over the appointments for the mayor?
Mr. Mayor, that's your policy.
Yes, thank you. Through you to the members of the board. I hereby make the Board of Aldermen aware of the following mayor's appointments. The council, the Milford Council on Aging, 2-year term expiring 12/31/25. Stephen Beers, 339 Meadowside Road, reappointment. Benjamin D. Gettinger, 93 Thompson Street, reappointment. Shirley A. Serrano, 36 Meeting House Lane, reappointment. John Drapp III, 41 Jackson Drive, reappointment. The Conservation Commission, 3-year term expiring 12/31/26. Cheryl B. Capielli, 234 Grinnell Street, reappointment. Claire Casey, 86 Governors Avenue, reappointment. Abigail Bernstein, 519 West River Street, new appointment, term to expire 12/31/25. Inland Wetlands Agency, Brian Black, 21 Milford Chase, new appointment. The Milford Redevelopment Housing Partnership, 5-year term expiring 12/31/28. Samuel S. Burgamy III, 16 Mayflower Court, reappointment. Veterans Graves Preservation Commission, 1-year term expiring 12/31/24. Thomas Cody Jr., 13 Dock Road, reappointment. Patrick Tokarts, 155 Castle Lane, reappointment. Those are the reappointments presented to the board. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Moving on to, at this point, I will entertain a motion to reorder the agenda, to move item 8F next to our agenda so that we can vote on all of our board and commission appointments before we move on to other city businesses. Is there a motion to reorder the agenda?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Alderman Pacelli, agenda item number 8F. 8F next.
Mr. Chairman, I think we skipped over 8A.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For agenda item 8A, I'd like to make a motion to divide the question and the agenda item so that the board will consider all of the items set forth in agenda item 8A, other than the Board of Finance, the Fire Commission, and the Parks, Beach, and Recreation Commission as one item, and then separately to take on the question of the Board of Finance, the Fire Commission, and the Park, Beach, and Recreation Commission as a second item.
Second the motion.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Alderman Smith.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, what's the reason for this motion to divide?
to separate. I'm sorry, Alderman Smith, there is no discussion on that motion,
There's no discussion on a motion?
on that motion.
Why?
It's my understanding a motion to divide the question is not up for discussion. It should be moved immediately to a vote after there's been a second. Not a
Mr. Chairman?
debatable motion.
Mr. Chairman, I disagree with that.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman?
yes, Mr. Mayor.
Through you, to the members of the board, to Majority Leader Pacelli, can you at least give us the purpose behind you dividing the question? I feel like these people are here tonight, ready, willing, and able to serve. They've been called to duty. They have family members here. Letters went out requesting their service. This is a customary thing. It's things that we've done through the past 16 years that I've been on the Board of Aldermen. I've never seen a motion like this taking place, and I'd like to, get some clarification of why. I don't think it's best practice at this time, and, it doesn't set the tone for people willing to serve our community, especially on a volunteer basis. These people have submitted resumes. They're all before you. They should be reviewed. And you've had the time to review them. We had a leadership meeting. We discussed the appointments. They were accepted at the leadership meeting. So I'd like to know what's changed.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to Mayor Giantassio, the purpose of the motion is to divide the agenda item into two groups as stated in order to more appropriately address the long list set forth in agenda item 8A. It's not an attempt not to have a vote on those items. I'm just asking that they be moved into two separate votes, one larger group and one smaller group. And as far as I'm aware, the procedure would call for a vote on that motion now that there's been a motion and a second.
It seems to me like we're going to be picking winners and losers tonight, unfortunately. And I don't see the purpose in dividing the question. I think we should move forward. There's a process in place. The appointments have been made, and the appointments aren't going to change. So,
Point of
I think-
order.
There's a motion on the floor. We're going to take it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Roll call vote, Madam Secretary.
Alderman Archiola? Alderman Beatty?
Yes.
Alderman Bevan?
Nay.
Alderman Casey?
No.
Alderman Federico?
Yes.
Alderman Fowler?
No.
Alderman Healy?
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins?
No.
Alderman Marlowe?
No.
Alderman Mulrennan?
Yes.
Alderman Pacelli?
Yes.
Alderman Smith?
no.
Alderman Vitro?
Yes.
Alderman Vitale? Alderman Willis?
Yes.
Nine yes, 8 no.
Motion passes.
Point of order, we have 15 on the board and we got 17 votes. Something wrong.
7, 8, 9.
Yes.
The math doesn't add up.
8 to 7, she said?
No, I said...
You said 9 to 7?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's 8 to 7.
8 to 7, the motion passes. Alderman Pacelli.
Board of Aldermen approval is hereby requested of the following mayor's appointments to the boards and commissions. List number 1, Board of Assessments Review, 3-year term expiring 12/31/26. Henry B. Healy, 115 Bayshore Drive, reappointment. Richard C. Lopresti, 118 Gulf Street, Unit 13, reappointment. Sarah Lebov, 75 Anchorage Drive, reappointment. Alternates, one-year term expiring 12/31/24. Richard Viziello, 85 Barton Road, reappointment. Luke S. Porto, 589 North Street, reappointment. Building Code Board of Appeals, 5-year term expiring 12/31/28. John Wojnarowski, 19 Aberdeen Way, reappointment. Scott J. Montfort, 39 Baker Street, new appointment, term to expire 12/31/24. Robert Shalisky, 26 Covington Drive, new appointment, term to expire 12/31/25. Civil Service Commission, 3-year term expiring 12/31/26. Janice Monaco, 70 Sosakis Drive, reappointment. Twig Holland, 2 Gulf View Court, reappointment. Golf Course Commission, 3-year term expiring 12/31/26. Ralph Mayo Jr., 38 West Main Street, Unit 3, reappointment. Catherine L. Hurley, 46 Bedford Avenue, reappointment. John H. O'Connell, 17 Ann Street, reappointment. Harbor Management Commission, 5-year term expiring 12/31/28. Robert M. Brennan, 984 East Broadway, reappointment. Board of Health, 3-year term expiring 12/31/26. Ellen Montfort, 39 Baker Street, new appointment. Historic Preservation Commission, 5-year term expiring 12/31/28. Eric J. Johnson, 40 Benson Street, reappointment. Amelia Maurer, 4 Partridge Lane, reappointment. Housing Code Board of Appeals, 5-year term expiring 12/31/28. James McMillan, 173 Red Root Lane, reappointment. Scott J. Montfort, 39 Baker Street, new appointment, term to expire 12/31/26. Frank Finelli III, 192 Merwin Avenue, new appointment, term to expire 12/31/27. Library Board, 3-year term expiring 12/31/26. Linda Creedon, 3 Flax Mill Lane, reappointment. Alice F. Oliver, 404 Gulf Street, reappointment. Constance Cuneo Graynor, 67th Avenue, new appointment. Police Commission, Samuel Burgamy Jr., 310 Tanglewood Circle, reappointment. David Chip Rubenstein, 38 Bayshore Drive, reappointment. James Riccitelli Jr., 44 Castle Lane, new appointment, term to expire 12/31/24. Sewer Commission, 3-year term expiring 12/31/26. Daniel Spicer, 101 Yale Avenue, new appointment. Transit District, 4-year term expiring 12/31/27. Ilya Ilyashevsky, 225 Gulf Street, reappointment. Advisory Board, 2-year term expiring 12/31/25. Nija Phelps, 1264 Naugatuck Avenue, reappointment. Nicholas Ricci, 159 Burnt Plains Road, new appointment. Tree Commission, 3-year term expiring 12/31/26. James Mullaney, 64 Wilcox Road, reappointment. Kelly Miller, 100 Viscount Drive, Apartment C4, reappointment. Veterans Ceremony and Parade Commission, 3-year term expiring 12/31/26. John T. Jansen, 22 Russell Road, Citizen Representative, reappointment. Francisco Rodriguez, 69B Robert Treat Drive, Citizen Representative, reappointment. Zoning Board of Appeals, 5-year term expiring 12/31/28. Andrew P. King, 32 Cedarhurst Lane, new appointment.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Alderman Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have every intention of voting for all of these, but since we're given any opportunity to comment earlier on what happened, I think the fact that we're not voting on all of the people that have been placed before us is a unique and, I think, unfortunate precedent that's being set by this board. I think is motivated by politics at the board and commission level, which I find despicable. And this is the first time in my memory it's ever happened in the city of Milford. I'm sad that it's happened. I'm sad that you cut off debate and wouldn't even let us talk about it. I'm not sure why it's happening here and now on this, but there's something behind it. And frankly, I'm disappointed in everybody who had anything to do with this.
Any other discussion on the motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
I just want to make a comment that if you average all these reappointments or all these new appointments, the majority is overwhelmingly reappointments. I mean, it's got to be in the high 90s. Like 98% of these people are getting reappointed. And you're not leaving any opportunity for new people. I mean, you can't just reappoint every single person. I mean, let's just be fair and let's just use common sense. I mean, but if you look, it was reappointment after reappointment after reappointment. I mean, I don't know how you feel about that, but, you know, we talk about, you know, being fair. We talk about being equitable. I mean, all these buzzwords, but we don't represent that. I mean, these are new people that are willing to serve in these capacities, and you're denying them the right. I just, you know, I'm really shocked is what I am, and I just wanted to make that comment. And, you know, I don't think that this represents Milford. Thank you.
Is there any more discussion on the motion? Alderman Marlowe.
Through you, Mr. Chair, just to address, I would have to agree with Alderman Smith's comments here. I mean, we were told that the reason for this vote was, or splitting, was to just split up the group, but there's very little equity there when you pull out three groups as compared to we sat through maybe 12 or 13 other groups. So obviously there's more reason here than just wanting to be separate issues or separate the amount of people here that you were trying to do at one time. I would say, again, I'm in favor of all these people that were on here, but I'm still confused as to why we had to separate the three people out of here. So maybe we can, as those items come up, we can discuss it more. Thank you.
Is there any more discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. You're gonna, Alderman Pacelli.
8A, second list, Board of Finance, 3-year term expiring 12/31/26. Brian Nethercott, 15 Randolph Farm Road. New appointment. Fire Commission, 3-year term expiring 12/31/26. William A. Brennan, 51 Milford Point Road, reappointment. Vincent J. Averamo, 306 Housatonic Drive, new appointment. Park, Beach, and Recreation Commission, 3-year term expiring 12/31/26. Scott J. Montfort Sr., 39 Baker Street, new appointment. Anthony Candido, 4 Topfield Road, new appointment.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Alderman Marlowe.
I'd like to call recess.
We in recess, 10-minute recess.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any more discussion on the motion? Recess is over.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Alderman Smith.
Mr. Chairman, I object to this motion being before us right now. We split the agenda earlier. We voted on item 8A, and what you're effectively doing now is you are reordering and/or adding a new item to the agenda. That requires its own vote by the board and by a 2/3 vote. So before we can take up this motion, we need to reorder and set a new agenda item, which would be 8A, Finance, Fire, and Park and Rec, and that is not yet before us, Mr. Chairman.
Point of order.
That's why we divided the question, so that we're going to be taking those up separately.
I disagree, Mr. Chairman. I think you're wrong about that, and I would appeal the decision of the chair on that to the full Board of Aldermen, and that too requires a 2/3 vote.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm appealing the decision of the chair. If your decision of the
Chairman.
chair is that we're not going forward on the objection, I'm appealing the decision of the chair.
Mr. Chairman.
So you're challenging the chairman?
Yes, I am.
Okay, we have a challenge on the board. And,
Point of order before we go any further. We're not discussing adding an extra item to the agenda. We are discussing separating the motion into pieces. I don't believe that counts as an addition to the agenda.
And that's the decision of the chair, and that's what's being appealed. You agree with your chairman? I don't. We're appealing the decision of the chair.
I think you just mentioned that you wanted to add, like this was adding something to the agenda. I disagree with that statement.
I understand you disagree. That's why the appeal's before us.
So we're going to take action on the appeal. All in favor? You're challenging the...
I'm challenging the decision of the chair. So if you're going to run the vote, I would ask it be by roll call vote.
Now, all in favor?
Point of order. What are we voting on right now?
Roll call vote.
On
Madam Secretary.
Does there need to be a
challenging.
motion?
what is the? I'm sorry.
Can you make
What
the
is?
motion?
I can't hear you.
I'm just wondering what we're voting on.
Voting on his challenging to the chairman. He's stating that the chairman is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. So, all in favor of Alderman Smith's challenge, say aye.
Mr. Chairman, I ask for a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Madam Secretary.
Oh, Alderman Argiola? Alderman Beatty?
No.
Alderman Bevan?
Yes.
Alderman Casey?
Yes.
Alderman Federico?
No.
Alderman Fowler?
Yes.
Alderman Healy?
No.
Alderman Jenkins?
Yes.
Alderman Marlowe?
Yes.
Alderman Mulrennan?
No.
Alderman Pacelli? No. Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Vitro?
No.
Alderman Vitale? Yes. Alderman Willis?
No.
8 noes, 7 yeses.
Mr. Chairman, the motion fails for lack of 2/3 majority.
What's that, Alderman Smith? Your
Right.
motion
But the
fails.
motion passed on the previous vote.
Well, your motion to be upheld needs to pass by 2/3. It does.
No, it doesn't. It's
When the
point
chair
of
is
order.
challenged, there needs to be a 2/3 vote in favor of the chair's challenge. There was no 2/3 vote in favor of the chair's challenge.
Point of order. I would refer to the city attorney to weigh in on this. I'm sorry. You're the closest thing to a parliamentarian we have at this moment.
I am not the parliamentarian.
All right. Forgive me.
The chair.
Mr. Chairman,
What?
Mr. Chair, I don't know how you can, the motion fails, so
Question is it a majority vote or is it a 2/3 vote? I don't know the answer to that.
Mr. Chair, do we have a parliamentarian for the Board of Aldermen?
Excuse me?
Do we have a parliamentarian for the Board of Aldermen?
What did he say? We don't have a parliamentarian.
Point of order, may I? A two-thirds majority may be needed to support an appeal, and that would be where an official parliamentarian might rule. But if the appeal fails, even by a basic majority, it failed 8-7, we don't have an obligation to have a supermajority to uphold an appeal that didn't get the supermajority that you're saying it needs. And just to go back to it, there will be discussion individually. The point that was made initially before our recess that there was no right to do this or it was despicable motives and it wasn't correct, we'll be able to come up in discussion as we go further along. But that was not the intent of this. It was intent, that's it. But you did not need a supermajority to withhold a vote that was won by majority rule.
First of all, I don't think we're talking about a supermajority, number one. Number two, I don't think there's any vote that could be taken that has to have a supermajority. It's either a majority or it's a two-thirds vote. So I don't know where we stand on this because we don't have a parliamentarian, and I don't think any of us can take up that position without having it recognized by the Board of Aldermen. So,
If I may.
Alderman Pacelli.
Thank you, Chairman. On the one hand, I'm going to bypass for a moment the conversation related to whether or not a supermajority vote or a majority vote is needed related to whatever motion was made, which is still not exactly clear to me. However, this board as a group can consider the various appointment requests in a number of manners. The way in which historically this has been set up from a mechanical standpoint is to read through a list of, I don't know, 15, 20 commissions and boards, and then vote on them as a whole. That often is how it's done. We could have done them one at a time. This is all related to timing. If a vote on the entirety of the 8A is taken entire group of people set forth here for appointment or reappointment could be denied. That would be a terrible result. And I don't think that's anything that anyone up here wants today. It would be a waste of the time of many people here today and certainly appear to be something other than what it was. A motion was made and passed to consider all but 3 of these commission appointments and reappointments as a group for the sake of time and for the sake of addressing those items that perhaps are less divisive than some other appointments. And they were dealt with. We go into recess, we come out of recess, and there's a request to have a motion related to whether or not the vote we just had was an actual vote. I'm not even sure what it was. It would seem to me that at least a majority, if not a supermajority, as you said, would be necessary to undo something that had been done prior, if that's even possible. And you had a majority of the group up here voting against whatever motion was just made by Alder Smith. So I would think that in the interest of moving on with business tonight, that we take up the 3 commissions that need to be addressed that have not yet been addressed. And that would be my recommendation, and I hope that is what happens next. Thank you.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I believe that we had a motion that was divided. We voted on the divided motion. We passed the motion to divide the agenda. We did not add anything new to the agenda that was not on there previously. The way that Alderman Smith is now interpreting the challenge to the agenda would make it nearly impossible for us to do our jobs if every time that someone wanted to challenge the chair on something on the agenda, you would then need a 2/3 majority to keep that item on the agenda. We'd never get anything done. So I think, the chair has discretion over the agenda. It can take a 2/3 majority to add or modify the agenda, which is not what we're doing. We divided the question. That was a completely legitimate and legal vote. So I agree with Alderman Pacelli that we should move on with the business of the second part of the question. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Alderman Federico.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm going to make a decision. We need the vote of the Board of Aldermen here present negative on the challenging of the chairman. So we're just going to move on. Alderman Pacelli.
I believe we are at the point where we should be having discussion related to the Board of Finance, the Fire Commission, and the Parks, Beach, and Recreation Commission. So we had a motion, and I believe we had a second.
Mr. Chairman?
You're going to read the amendments?
I did already. We did this already. We need to vote on those.
Okay, we're up to our vote. Any more discussion on the?
Mr. Chairman, again, just so I have a better understanding, I'd like to take a recess again.
All right,
Thank you.
10-minute recess.
Scott.
See the answer? That's the problem. It's going to happen again.
The recess is over. Alderman Beatty.
Thank you. In recess, we're now able to have more discussion, but we want to correct a few things. We're presented with appointments, as Majority Leader Pacelli has indicated so well. The vast majority of them, with the exception of 3, we questioned. There was no intent to thwart our new mayor, to make this political. It is not political. We are very respectful of the people who are sitting in the audience, maybe with family members who are going to be sworn into commissions. I remember the first time I was, quite a few years ago, sworn in, and it was a very proud moment. We honor that. We'd like you to imagine in 2 years, if you were put on one of these commissions, that you were taken off and you didn't know and you weren't reappointed. How would you feel? A little empathy. We're trying to defend in very few instances very important commissions, sometimes with chairpersonship roles, to keep that person on. And we ask to bifurcate the process so that we only focus on those 3. So we have been pictured through a lens of doing something untoward, not in our bailiwick, not in the best interests of the city, and not honoring the people who serve. We are trying to honor the people who serve, who didn't know they were being removed. You heard the testimony from Pete Smith talking about an individual. We're doing it for the process. So there has to be a little trust in this, and the fact that the vote was 8-7 because we have the majority doesn't mean it was done along party lines. It was done for the right reasons, for a good thing. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Alderman Federico.
So a lot's been said about the message tonight for those who wish to serve, and like Alderwoman Beatty said, we thank you for coming out to serve. But I think we just need to be careful about what it says when there's 3 very dedicated people who previously served on these boards that were removed without any reason. And I think we do a great disservice without considering the dedicated service of those members. Okay. The members that are being displaced from these committees, that's much more disheartening than us just saying to take a beat, take a look at these appointments, and reconsider. Thank you.
Alderman Healy.
Mr. Chairman, It is the Board of Aldermen, we are the legislative function for approval for boards and commissions here in the city. There are direct mayoral appointments, but as we've heard from the mayor this evening and other members, there are people who have submitted their credentials and are here this evening with their families, but also there are people who have served on these particular commissions, Finance, Fire, and Park and Recreation, that have done great service to those particular entities. And it's in consideration of them that we all must look at it and review these particular situations in terms of that's how we cast our ballots for, the people who do present themselves. So to be someone to say that
Thank you, Alderman Healy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm not sure why that keeps jumping off, but I want to first of all say thank you to the people that are going to be appointed. And there's no question in my mind that the people that have served and were dedicated to the different boards and commissions that they were on. Having said that, the people that are here that are on these different boards that are being asked to be appointed are dedicated and have the qualifications as well. So I would think that we would want to allow people that desire to serve that are qualified should have that opportunity to serve. And I would like to ask the question as well, if this is voted, if this is voted down, these appointments, what happens to those positions that people are serving on right now? And I'm not sure who answers that.
As the charter reads. Yes, the city attorney wants to step in. John?
Mr. Chair, through you to Alderman Marlowe, the members continue to serve.
Do they continue to serve until new appointees are nominated and approved, and what is that process?
It's a process you're going through, yes.
Yeah, no, I guess maybe I should have asked, what is the time frame on that? So next month, when we have an alderman meeting, there's new people that are being asked to be appointed?
Next month, the month after, it's upon appointment, still it's brought up again on the agenda.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Mayor.
I'd just like to make a comment based on Alderman Marlowe's question. These names will be put forward for the next month's agenda. And I'm asking for your consideration tonight. They are mayoral appointments. I was elected by the city of Milford, by the people of Milford, to represent the city. And these are people that I believe in. I just, it reminds me of over 20 years ago when I started on the PZA board. Mayor Riccitelli appointed me. It wasn't an elected board. And we're all here as elected officials, and I think we should know better. And that opportunity brought me to the mayor's seat, and I'm here today. And I'm looking to the future. Those people that served, those 3 people out of all the reappointments that were made tonight, they served with grace and dignity. I sent them letters and I thanked them for their service. And I appreciate their service. So by holding this up, whether it's this tonight or next month or the month after, it just doesn't send a good message for people that are looking for opportunities. The majority of the people tonight were reappointed. There has to be give and take.
Mr. Chairman?
There has to be an understanding. Thank you.
Alderman Fowler?
Thank you. I just feel like this separation is trying to not only embarrass the new duly elected mayor in what is clearly politicking, but frankly, this board is also trying to embarrass the nominees that he's putting forward. Our good friendly neighbors in Milford, and I'm proud to support all of his nominations. And I'm just saddened that this regular friendly process has just been reduced to the majority party's engineering and politicking.
Mr. Chairman?
Alderman Archeola.
Thank you very much, through you. I do want to genuinely thank anybody who chooses to volunteer their time to serve our city. Our wonderful city runs on volunteers. Now, to speak to what the mayor was commenting on, these are not mayoral appointments that we are discussing. These are aldermanic appointments, which means that these names are put before us, and it is on it's on the Board of Aldermen to make a decision on who serves on these boards. It is part of our function, and it is part of our duty. That is not to say that people who will not be selected for this are unqualified or ineligible to serve here. It is on us, it is our responsibility to make a decision on who is best for these roles. And in this particular instance, we have 3 exceptions to the mayor's recommendations. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Alderman Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On that last comment, what's before us are the mayor's appointments that do require the legislative approval. We are giving our approval or not. And I'm going to, the only reason that you would be separating this is because you're all prepared to vote no on these things. And there better be good reasons why you're voting these folks down. These are qualified people, these are volunteer people, and you're going to vote them down. Well, that's a first in Milford, I'll tell you what. And I deem this to be motivated by narrow, petty, partisan considerations. And that's the tone that you want to set for this new Board of Aldermen, huh? You know, there were leadership meetings that were held with the leadership of both party and the mayor. No objections to any of these things came up during this whole process. And that's the way it's always been in Milford. You let them know, you work this thing out. This is not the place for, there are going to be substantive policy differences, sometimes even political and partisan differences. It has never come down to boards and commissions in the city of Milford. And this vote that you're holding right now, I know you overran us. You got the majority vote. I deem this to be an illegal vote. I'm going to abstain from this vote because you are running an illegal vote. And I hope the mayor puts the same people up next month and you've got to hold another illegal vote next month. I'm going to abstain on this because, frankly, it's despicable what you're doing.
Mr. Chairman.
Alderman Mulrennan.
First of all, I'd like to address everyone in the public forum here, and thank you for your time, and I'm very sorry that this is belabored. There are 3 categories of appointment. One is the mayor, and we have nothing to say about that. It's just the mayor making us aware. The second is the mayor with Board of Aldermen approval. That is what we're on right now with the 3 exception. There is a third category, which is the Board of Aldermen approval, which the mayor has appointed people, and we haven't had any conversations about the people that he's appointed to those boards. As a Board of Aldermen, our position is to represent you, the people who serve in your volunteer positions. We have asked for consideration in some of those appointments because that's the prudent thing to do. to be called despicable, or to say we should know better, or to say if this is what the board wants to do to set the tone, is contrary. Those comments are setting the tone. We are being diplomatic and tactful and open and transparent and explaining to all the members of the board and the individuals in this audience what is happening. And unfortunately, your time is being eaten away because we need to move forward and we need to make a vote so we can go on next to the Board of Aldermanic Appointments.
Mr. Chairman, I just have one last comment, and then I will yield the floor.
Mr. Mayor.
The one thing that Mayor Smith did say that I took from is he held an open house here in this chamber to attract new people, to let them know that there's opportunities to serve on boards and commissions. And now, the 3 new people out of several people, and I don't even want to count, you're going to deny the opportunity to serve. After Mayor Smith went through and said that and took the time to have an open house, and I understand what's happening because it's happening right before my eyes. And I'm asking you, I'm pleading with you to please, please do the right thing. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Alderman Archeolo.
I just want to read into the record that there are several new appointments that we have no issue with. There are simply 3 that after discussion we would like to adjust. So we're not touching all new appointments. We merely picked out 3 that seem inequitable in our eyes. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, through you, just to follow up to Alderman Archeolo's comment. So the 3 people that are there, all you're saying is you want them to remain there. That's what you're saying. You're not looking at the 3 applicants. One of them happens to be a lawyer who's somebody that donates his time, volunteers for nonprofit organizations, and you're going to dismiss that. You're going to dismiss these people for who they are and what they stand for and how they want to serve. Do you think that's fair? I don't think it's fair.
Mr. Chairman,
Alderman Mulrennan.
I think that we're going to go back and forth on the same points, and I do think we need to move forward. I think the 3 people we're talking about, one was the existing vice chair, one was a chair. And if we go back to Pete Smith's testimony, he would give up his position to continue to have Kevin McGrath serve on the Fire Commission. All we're asking is to pause, to think about it, and let's vote and move forward so we can go on to the next set of appointments and utilize and give these people their time so we can go forward.
These people are here on their own merits. We're not making backroom deals.
Point of order, please.
People that are going to
Chair.
resign to give someone else so they can keep someone else on. That's not how we do business in the city of Milford.
It has been made and seconded, and it's time to have a vote. Roll call vote, Madam Secretary.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What exactly are we voting on? Can you make sure you reread the motion or?
Alderman Pacelli, would you repeat your motion?
Would it be more appropriate for me to reread the motion, or for, it would be? Okay. So there was a motion made, I'm going to go through it all again. It was related to the Finance Board, the Fire Commission, and the Park, Beach, and Recreation Commission. The motion was to consider the individuals that were set forth in 8A. So either yes to vote in favor of them or no to vote against.
Roll call vote, Madam Secretary, please.
Alderman Archiola?
Yes.
Alderman
No.
Beatty?
No, forgive me. Sorry.
Alderman Beatty?
I would like the motion to be read in through the secretary, and that's maybe something that we should establish, rather than as whatever was read in as the motion to read us back to it, and then we can have the vote on it.
Okay, he just read it, though. So Alderman Piselli and Alderman Archiola made and seconded a motion to approve the following mayor's appointments to the boards and commissions. Finance Board, 3-year term expiring 12/31/26, and I apologize if I get the names wrong. Brian Nethercott, 15 Randolph Farm Road, new appointment. Fire Commission, 3-year term expiring 12/31/26. William Brennan, 51 Milford Point Road, reappointment. Vincent Avaramo, 306 Housatonic Drive, new appointment. Park Beach and Recreation Commission, 3-year term expiring 12/31/26. Scott Monfort, 39 Baker Street, new appointment. And Anthony Candido, 4 Topfield Road, new appointment.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. You want to continue the roll call vote, please?
All right, I'm going to start over. Alderman Archiola?
No.
Alderman Beatty?
No.
Alderman Bevan?
Yes.
Alderman Casey?
Yes.
Alderman Federico?
No.
Alderman Fowler?
Yes.
Alderman Healy?
No.
Alderman Jenkins?
Yes.
Alderman Marlowe?
Yes.
Alderman Morenin?
No.
Alderman Piselli?
No.
Alderman Smith?
I abstain on this illegal vote.
Alderman Vitro?
No.
Alderman Vitale?
Yes.
Alderman Willis?
No.
8 noes, 6 yeses, and 1 abstention.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. The motion passes. Alderman Piselli.
Mr. Chairman? Can you state that again? The motion did not pass.
The motion that Alderman Piselli read did not pass.
8 noes, 1 abstention, 6 yes.
And there's 1 abstention. Alderman Piselli.
Agenda item 8F. Board of Aldermen approval is hereby requested for the following items. Animal Shelter Commission.
Excuse me? You need a motion to reorder.
I thought we did that prior.
Not for 8F, though. When did you do that?
I believe we did.
I don't recall that. I'm sorry.
Mr.
Okay,
Chair,
why don't
Mr. Chair, through you, that was done prior to 8A. It was a little out of order, but it was completed.
I'll make a motion if necessary.
It will change then.
Okay. All right, I'll proceed. 8F, Animal Shelter Commission, Kimberly Jenkins, 5 Mill Pond Close, new appointment, term to expire 12/31/28. Flood and Erosion Control Board, Michael Zabinski, 102 Shorefront, reappointment, term to expire 12/31/28. John R. Casey Jr., 93 Wilcox Road, reappointment, term to expire 12/31/28. Historic District Commission, Suzanne Whitaker, 525 Milford Point Road, reappointment, term to expire 1/1/29. Alternate, Linda B. Stevenson, 69 Elaine Road, reappointment, term to expire 1/1/29. Historic District south of the Green, Walter Ortoleva, 244 Seaside Avenue, reappointment, term to expire 1/1/29. Human Services, Milford Department of Human Services, Melissa Tranquilli, 105 Red Bush Lane, reappointment, term to expire 12/31/26. Mallory Nugent, 90 Barton Road, reappointment, term to expire 12/31/26. Inland Wetlands Agency, Brendan J. Magnan, 153 Rogers Avenue, reappointment, term to expire 12/31/26. Nicholas Ricci, 159 Burnt Plains Road, new appointment, term to expire 12/31/26. Milford Government Access Television, Nicole Servas, 29 Musket Hill Lane, reappointment, term to expire 12/31/25. Eric Smith, 2 Glenwood Avenue, new appointment, term to expire 12/31/24. Katie Martino, 41 Jackson Drive, new appointment, term to expire 12/31/24. Pension and Retirement Board, Christopher McKenna, 24 Rose Street, reappointment, term to expire 12/31/26. Christian McInnes, 60 Point Lookout, reappointment, term to expire 12/31/26. Anne Marie Kindley, 94 6th Avenue, term reappointment, term to expire 12/31/26. Jerry Farina, 31 Bonsaline Street, reappointment, term to expire 12/31/25. David A. Ellison, 20 Ward Street, new appointment, term to expire 12/31/25. Nicholas Ricci, 159 Burnt Plains Road, new appointment. Tree Commission, a 3-year term expiring 12/31/26. James T. Mullaney, 60, wait a minute. Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. Went to the wrong page. I left off with David Ellison. And I have alternate Jen Kraus, 76 Ranch Road, new appointment, term to expire 12/31/26. Elizabeth Branna Maurer, 22 Norway Street, new appointment, term to expire 12/31/26. Frank Musanti, 26 Covington Drive, new appointment, term to expire 12/31/26.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none?
No.
Oh, Alderman Pacelli, sorry.
So I'd like to make a motion to amend a few of the items that we've just discussed that have been entered as they are directly off of the agenda. The first is a motion to amend the Animal Shelter Commission. Let me just find it. I'd like to reappoint, I'd like to add to this motion, a motion to reappoint Susan Stanek with a term to expire 12/31/28, and the appointment of Kimberly Jenkins to the vacant term to expire 12/31/26. So that's one item. And the second item, for the Milford Government Access Television, I'd like to remove reference to Katie Martino and add a reappointment of Nigel Phelps with a term to expire 12/31/25.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Alderman Smith.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Can I ask what the reason is for removing Katie Martino?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Through you.
Alderman Willis. Alderman Willis.
Withdrawal, please.
I'm sorry, was there an answer to that question?
Alderman Marlowe.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, through you, I know that Alderman Smith was questioning why Katie was taken off the list as appointments, and I'd also like to ask why Kimberly Jenkins, her term is changed from 28 to 26.
I don't.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, the reason is to recognize the continuation of two dedicated board members, Nigel Phelps and Susan Stanek, on those committees. That's the reason.
You addressing that answer to Alderman Smith? Alderman Federico?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
You wanted to know why we took off, and you're giving him the answer? Answering Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Okay.
And I have,
Mr. Chairman,
and also, in answering that as well, and I refer to Alderman Mulrennan when she spoke about the three different categories of appointments. This Milford Government Access TV are the Board of Aldermen appointments, and we're, for the record, seeking approval. All of the candidates are good, and so we object to saying somebody's an attorney and somebody's qualified. We read all the resumes, they're all qualified. We didn't want to replace Nigel Phelps, and we had to choose, and that's what we did in order to continue her appointment. There was nothing detrimental said about any other candidate, and these are just the Board of Aldermen approvals that we're getting into the record.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, just for further explanation. So the removal is being made here not because there's any concern about her qualifications or dedication.
Not removing, we're adding, we're recommending
Katie
that Nigel Phelps not be removed and that she continues.
But Katie Martino is being removed from our agenda item, and she's being removed from consideration by this board here tonight. That's the effect of this amendment. And you're not doing it based on her qualifications or disqualifications. And you said you've seen all these resumes. Well, Nigel Phelps is being added here. There's no resume for her. I don't know. You all people that have been on the board, fine, great. I'm new to this board. I don't know what Nigel Phelps' qualifications are. I heard somebody testify out here. Could be true, maybe not. She has nothing in this packet. So if the idea here is to have us vote in a knowledgeable way on nominations that are before us, what we need to do is we need to have the process adhered to. We should have those resumes before us. We don't. And I would suggest that voting on somebody who hasn't gone through the process and been vetted out before us here, even if it's just a reappointment, that should not be considered by this board at this time because it isn't in compliance with what we normally do.
Alderman Smith, Nigel Phelps is already on the committee.
And her resume is in for the advisory committee if one wants to look. We studied the resumes.
I did study the resumes. There is nothing on it. It was entered in blank.
He's
Mr.
not
Chair.
understanding the difference.
Alderman Healy.
Can we make a friendly amendment to the motion to add Katie Marino as an alternate and vote?
Is there such a thing as an alternate to this board?
No. I don't believe we could add an alternate at this time.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to urge my colleagues to vote no. This is a clear warping of the entire vetting process that we've got here before us for boards and commissions. And if you have somebody else you want to have considered, then that person should go through the process, even if they're already on the board.
Well, you heard the motion, the amended motion. And we're discussing the amended motion. Do you have anything to add to the discussion for the amended motion? Or we're going to just vote on it?
Mr. Chairman, we're voting on the amendment to the motion?
Yes. Any more discussion on the amendment to the motion?
I'd ask the vote be by roll.
Roll call vote, Madam Secretary, please.
Alderman Archiola,
Forgive me, can we please read out exactly what we're on the amendment? Okay. I vote yes.
Alderman Beatty,
Yes.
Alderman Bevan,
No.
Alderman Casey,
No.
Alderman Federico,
Yes.
Alderman Fowler,
No.
Alderman Healy,
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins,
No.
Alderman Marlowe,
No.
Alderman Morenin,
Yes.
Alderman Pacelli,
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
No.
Alderman Vitro,
Yes.
Alderman Vitale,
No.
Alderman Willis.
Yes.
8 yes, 7 no.
The amendment passes. Alderman Pacelli. You packaged all three of them together? That was the amendment? I'm sorry.
So, through you, Mr. Chairman, I believe where we are is we have an amendment that had passed to now be considered as the actual motion on the floor. Is that's correct, I believe, right? So I think we're at the point of discussion on the motion as amended.
Back to the original motion,
As amended.
as amended. All in favor?
We have discussion on the amended motion, Mr. Chairman?
Is Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Alderman Willis.
is the motion to discuss the amendment, is that debatable or not? I don't think it's debatable.
The underlying motion is not debatable?
It's debatable. We're on discussion now for the original, on the original motion.
All right, that's fine.
Any discussion on the original motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Alderman Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There are a lot of very qualified people on this. We've just watched another demonstration of a partisan political manipulation of our process. I understand this is going to pass. I am going to protest vote no because of the way the majority party is just a raw exercise of partisan political power here tonight. I think it's despicable, and I'm going to continue to vote no.
Is there any more discussion on the motion, the original motion? Seeing none, all in favor?
I'd ask roll call vote.
Where is it? On the original motion? As amended. As amended. Roll call vote, Madam Secretary.
Alderman Archiola, Alderman Beatty, Alderman Bevan,
No.
Alderman Casey,
Yes.
Alderman Federico,
Yes.
Alderman Fowler,
No.
Alderman Healy,
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins,
Abstain.
Alderman Marlowe,
No.
Alderman Morenin,
Yes.
Alderman Pacelli,
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
No.
Alderman Vitro,
Yes.
Alderman Vitale,
No.
Alderman Willis.
Yes.
9 yeses, 5 noes, 1 abstention.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. The motion passes. At this time, will our newly confirmed board and commission members come to the front of the auditorium to be sworn in?
Good evening. Thank you for staying. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully execute and discharge your duties and responsibilities according to law as a member of your respective board or commission of the city of Milford to the best of your ability, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations and thank you.
Alderman Pacelli, agenda item 8B.
8B, Board of Aldermen approval is requested per the attached Listing and Marketing Commission agreement between the City of Milford and Brindley Mountain Fire Apparatus, and to authorize the mayor and fire chief to take all steps necessary, including signing all documents to effectuate said agreement.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Yes, Alderman Casey.
I see members of the fire department here. Can I ask you questions? So as I understand, we are selling the larger hook and ladder apparatus, and why? And also, like, I know that now we have to exchange, like, the quint is more likely the replacement. What is a quint? Like, what's the difference between a quint and a hook and ladder, and why are we selling this hook and ladder? Thank you.
Through you, Alderman Vitro, to Alderman Casey. Thank you for your question. Let me start by addressing your first question. Why are we retiring the tower ladder? The tower ladder is a 2005. It has over 80,000 miles of service to the city. It's extended and exceeded its service life to the city. So it is in need of many repairs to be brought back up to standard, to be safe to travel across the roadways and allow the fire personnel to work. It would most likely, in all estimates, be in excess of $100,000. So it's not worth investing just that much money or funds into that vehicle at this point in time. So we've moved on to speccing a new ladder or aerial. And to answer the second part of your question, what is a quint? A quint quint is for 5, and it serves 5 functions. It has to have a water tank, a pump, hose line, ground ladders, and an aerial ladder. much like the tower ladder truck that we've retired. Our two current Quints in our fleet are 75-foot aerials. They can reach a distance or extend a distance of 75 feet. This administration, along with Chief Ito, prior to his retirement, spec'd and procured a 100-foot Quint to be added to our arsenal as a frontline unit. As you know, the city of Milford continues to grow, but there's no more property in the city of Milford, so we're going vertical. So going back to a 100-foot aerial is a smart strategic move that we believe as an administration for this city and the people we serve. So again, where we are with the Brindley Mountain request is that we are doing our due diligence and trying to determine what the current value of the tower is in the state that it's in via auction, and we also held a sealed bid as well within the city. We as chiefs can only go by comparatives in the market. We can only appeal to the apparatus brokers to advise us what they believe the value of that unit might be. And we have Assistant Chief Rabel has taken the lead on listing the tower with Brindley Mountain Apparatus, and I'll pass the microphone to him so he can expand on where we stand with that at the moment.
Good evening. Through you, Chairman. As the Chief stated, this is more of a formality that we're asking for right now. We currently have it listed with Fenton Fire as well, who is also a firehouse broker. We were given back in 2018 through the Board of Aldermen. There was a, I forget what this is actually called. It was through an inter-office memo, but the board voted on the ability for Public Works, Police, and Fire to be able to dispose of, sell, or trade in used or undesirable or broken down or old apparatus that we would have. As I stated, we have it listed with Fenton Fire currently, and the purpose of today's vote for you folks is to allow us to list with Brindley Mountain as well to help get our truck out there more and potentially have a buyer. The reason that we have to have you vote on it for Brindley Mountain and not Fenton Fire is because Brindley has an indemnification clause or a hold harmless agreement. So your vote is to give the chief and the mayor the ability to sign this agreement with Brindley in order to list that fire apparatus with their brokerage.
I have a question.
Alderman Beatty.
Thank you. Through you, Chairperson Vitro, to the fire department. You triggered something. In 2017, I was part of this board, and we did approve that, and for other departments as well. And was there a stipulation at that time or an expectation that the revenue generated from that would go back to the fire department or into the general fund, just as we approach budget? And what happened to that? What's your understanding of it? Maybe that's to the chief. And did that occur?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if it's in here spelled out or not.
So I can only speak to what transpired in my role as Assistant Chief and working with Chief Ito when interim Mayor Smith was in office. He agreed that the revenues from the sale of one of the trucks that has already been sold, it's a Quint 9, was removed from service, and it was stationed at Siemens Lane, our training facility. Right. That truck was auctioned off, and in fact, the proceeds from that truck did come back to the fire department budget.
No, I just wanted to clarify, and you brought it up. Thank you. Pardon the interruption.
I don't see it spelled out in the memo. I can hand you a copy if you'd like to revisit it yourself.
No, I guess if I got a copy, everybody on the board should have one, but no, that clarified. I wanted to make sure. And that was, you reminded us that we did do that, and we did that for Public Works as well, so I just was keeping track of it. And that was Mayor Smith who...
Yes, ma'am.
And if I may just add, the objective of listing with multiple brokers is to do our best to try and procure the highest amount possible in return to the city. So we continue to aggressively exhaust all options to try and find a buyer that would see value in this truck and get the best return for the city of Milford.
Any more discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Chief, Assistant Chief.
Thank you.
Thanks for answering our questions. Alderman Pacelli, agenda item 8C.
8C, Board of Aldermen approval is requested for the attached golf course operation and management agreement, and to authorize the mayor, city attorney, and golf commission chairman to take all steps necessary, including signing all documents to effectuate said agreement.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Alderman Pacelli, agenda item 8D.
8D, Board of Aldermen approval is requested for the attached declaration of reciprocal easements agreement between the City of Milford and 51 Roses Mill LLC for property located at 51-53 Roses Mill Road, and to authorize the mayor and city attorney to take all steps necessary to effectuate said agreement.
Second.
Mr. Chairman?
Motion has been made.
Mr. Chairman, if I
Yes,
could.
Alderman
Mr. Chairman, I have a conflict on this, and I'm going to be recusing myself from the debate and vote, and I'm also going to absent myself. I'm just going to step out of the chamber. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Smith. Is there any discussion on item 8B? D. Yes, Alderman Marlowe.
Just quickly, through you, Mr. Chair, to the city attorney. I know that we received a revised contract here, I guess it would be. And if you could just briefly tell us what the differences was or are.
Mr. Chair, through you to Alderman Marlowe, simply the changes simplify the process and responsibilities. As you know, this is a reciprocal easements whereby the 51 Roses Mill, the property, for those that know, it's where the new Milford Bank is. It was formerly Rob's Deli for those old school Milford folk, and I think there was a video store that I may or may not owe late charges to. That building was redeveloped recently, and in doing the closeout documents, the city engineer discovered that the driveway, curb cut, is actually on city property. And that was almost by accident, because obviously that driveway had existed as far back as the 1980s. It came to be owned by the city via quitclaim in 2007 by the state of Connecticut when it did some work on Roses Mill. So to able to close out that project, which the Planning and Zoning Board approved, that's what this easement is. In addition to that, there is a sidewalk on the other side of that driveway, which is city sidewalk, city put it in, but we put it in on their property. So it was a little confusing as drafted by the developer. What the current draft says is that the sidewalk responsibilities shall be in accordance with state law and chapter 20 of our ordinances, which basically sets forth that the abutting property owner shall keep the property free and clear of debris such as snow and ice and keep it in good repair. Ultimately, the city is responsible for all the sidewalks in the city, but our ordinances do allow us to encourage abutting property owners to maintain sidewalks and send them a letter if they don't. If they don't repair them, we can go ahead and do the work and lien the property. Ultimately, however, the legal liability for sidewalk maintenance remains with the city, and that's why it's a little brief, but that's the changes as reflected.
Thank you.
Any more discussion on the motion? Alderman Beatty.
I just want to comment that I was pleased to see the sidewalk, the stipulation that it was outlined. We talked about walkable cities, and the sidewalk maintenance and cost comes up each time. So this is laid out specifically. My question is, you can encourage the owner to keep up the sidewalk, and if they don't, is there teeth in that enforcement?
Mr. Chair, through you to Alder Beatty, yes, there is teeth. The ordinance does allow us to go ahead and have Public Works repair the sidewalks and then put a lien against the property if the property owner does not, in fact, repair the sidewalks. So there's teeth to the ordinance. We don't avail ourselves of it very often, but we have in the past.
Has it ever been done?
Yes.
Attorney? Yeah.
Yeah, probably about before COVID. Time everything was COVID, but we've definitely done it within the last 10 years.
All right, thank you.
Any more discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Alderman Pacelli, agenda item 8E.
8E, Board of Aldermen approval is requested for the attached City of Milford Community Rating System PPI program for public information and annual progress report on implementation of credited plan, and to authorize the mayor, open space manager, floodplain administrator, and inland wetlands agent to take all steps necessary, including signing all documents to effectuate said program.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Alderman Marlowe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, I see Mary Rose in the audience there. And Mary Rose, I wonder if you could just give us a brief update of what this is. My understanding is that it is just that it's an update of where we stand on these on the plan.
Good evening, everyone. Through you, Mr. Chairman. This is the annual update for the Plan for Public Information. It's a piece of our community rating system project under FEMA, and the goal of it is to promote flood safety and resiliency, to inform the public of potential for flooding risks and hazards. And our outreach for that is we do outreach to the community through the website. There's updates the City Hall and Fire Department do on social media. We do outreach at Earth Day and other Oyster Fest, other outreach programs, and we do outreach into association meetings. We also send letters to insurance, realtors, and other parties that are part of closings, so people can be aware that there's a flood risk and that flood insurance may help them.
Thank you. So just to follow up, this ultimately can help homeowners with their flood insurance?
Yes, it's a required piece of the community rating system program, and with that, the citizens of the town enjoy a 5% discount on their flood insurance.
Thank you.
Any more discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Mary Rose. Next item on the agenda is item number 9. There is no new business. Agenda item number 10, there are no budget memo transfers. Agenda item 11, moving on to refunds. Alderman Pacelli, agenda item number 11A.
11A, consideration of refunds in the amount of $14,717.26.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Agenda item number 12, are there any reports from any of the standing committees? I don't see any. We'll move on to agenda item number 13. Are there any reports from any of our special committees? Alderman Vitale.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. I happen to be a liaison on the two jewels, two diamonds in the rough, and our guests in the city, one being the golf course and the other being the Harbor Commission. And I'd just like to give you some astonishing data points on the par 3 golf course, that this year there were 35,000 rounds played at the course. Electric carts, there were almost 5,500 carts, electric cart rentals, and pull carts, there were about 3,500. So those are astonishing numbers for a three-hole par 3 course in the city. And the other jewel is the Harbor Commission, or the harbor, and to let everybody know that the planned dredging of the harbor is finished, even though there might be another phase to it, but it was done in a month early, so that the harbor is now in good stead, and thanks to Jim Donegan and the Harbor Commission that do a tremendous job down there. So, thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Vitale. Is there any more reports of any special committees? Alderman Devon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Park Beach and Rec Commission, I'd like to report that there are now 8 pickleball courts open, 2 tennis courts open, and the bathrooms are open at Eisenhower Park. On Council for Aging, they're going to be putting in a new sound system that will encompass the gym and their dining room. It will be an expense of about $22,945, and I suggest that the mayor look into the same sound system here in City Hall, because back there you can't hear, and up here you turn the air conditioning on, and I'm freezing my butt off here. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Alderman Bevan. Is there any other special committee reports? Yes. Alderman Fowler.
Thank you. I went to the Pensions and Retirement Board meeting. There were several applications of entry into the pension, including Mayor Giannatasio. I also attended the Sewer Commission. Edmund Collier resigned as chair. We were told that the wastewater plants had performed well in November, and there was maintenance done to pump stations in Zion Hill and Gulf Pond. And I also serve on the as a liaison for the Board of Ed, and I just want to note that the superintendent is introducing her proposed budget tonight. So just, I guess there will be more info on that to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Fowler. Are there any other special committee reports? Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item number 14. I will entertain a motion to enter executive session to discuss 14A and 14B. Joining us in executive session for items 14A and 14B will be the Mayor, Anthony Giannatasio, City Attorney John Birchup, and the City Assessor Marcus Eric. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion has been made and second to go into executive session. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We're in executive session. John. We are out of executive session. Now, we are now out of executive session. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion is made and seconded to come out of executive session. All in favor? Opposed? We're out of executive session. Alderman Pasali.
Item 14A, consideration of settlement of HIT Portfolio 2 Owner, LLC versus City of Milford regarding 129 Plains Road.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Alderman Pacelli.
Agenda item 14B, consideration of settlement of Target Corporation versus City of Milford regarding 1191 Boston Post Road.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion is made and is seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.